The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have got a fabulous, fabulous lineup for all of you today. One of the things that I love is that I don't know what I don't know. And what I mean by that is that 15 years ago, when this started for me, it started as something that my heart was called to do 1 hour a week on an internet-only station. Today, I'm actually called a pioneer in digital radio. I actually don't know what that means. I hand that over to Jessica. She tells me what that means. What it means, though, for me is that 6 months after that first show, I came down with the mystery disease. And as a result of the gift of that mystery disease, the only thing I could physically, emotionally do was keep buying airtime and doing a radio show in search of finding out what exactly was underneath all this and what could we learn that my doctors weren't telling me, except for Dr. Darvish, one of the best natural doctors, I think, on the planet. And today, that's why I do what I do. And today's show very specifically is about what I discovered on the way to becoming me in a well-being state of mind, body, and spirit. Christian Wilde is joining me here today, author, research, and here's what he has done. Hundreds of radio shows, if not more, but he has been the person that comes on and says, this is what you think you know, this is what we have bought into believing, and now let me do some research and let me bring you the truth of what's happening. Today, he is joining us to talk about several things, but we're going to talk about turmeric. We're going to talk about heart disease. We're going to talk about cancer, diabetes, arthritis, and other illnesses. Why was it that I lost two people I loved, my favorite uncle and my stepmom, to massive heart attacks? What didn't we know then? What do we know now? And what action are you willing to take? Christian, it's great to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Dr. Pat, it's my pleasure. I look forward to this.
I gave you a little...
PhD.
Yeah. I gave you a little snippet of my journey here, right? And because
right.
Just a little bit. But I want to ask you something like that. I have read about you. You have done countless radio shows. You are a warrior out there in the field to educate us, to really bring the action we need to take to the forefront. I got to ask you, what are some of the challenges? What are some of the obstacles that you, Christian, personally had to overcome to bring you to this very moment today, this very conversation?
That's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Many years ago, I had a physical, and the doctor said, Christian, you're excellent. Your condition is excellent. Your cholesterol is perfect. This is perfect. This is perfect. Pardon me. I don't need to see you for another year. And as I'm leaving, I'm at the door, and I turn around. He's a friend of mine. I say, Mort, how many times do you physicians tell a patient that they're free to go, that everything is in order, and you find out a week later or a day later, their wife calls you and says he died last night? He said it happens all the time. He said we physicians are in the business of saving lives. And when this happens, it's very distressing to us too. He said, let me tell you a story. He said about 2 years ago, I told a fellow that everything checked out, his treadmill and everything, and he's walking down the stairs to get in his car, and he dies of a heart attack. And so, I'm thinking I've heard of too many of my friends that have died, and or had massive heart attacks, and the doctors were as much amazed as the patient. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of research on that. And after a while, I started finding information out that so impressed me that I shut down my business, spent 5.5 years on researching the hidden causes of heart attack and stroke in a 52-chapter book. And all the time that I'm working on it, people are saying, Christian, you're in the music business. Who is going to read a book on heart disease that you write when doctors won't even endorse each other? Mm-hmm. So when I finished it, I sent 5 copies to 5 directors of cardiology at 5 major universities, and all of them endorsed it to the nth degree. So I felt I was on the right track.
Yeah. Well,
and that's
you're right
what got
about
me
that.
into it.
Yeah. Well, you're right about that. I mean, you and I are kind of similar. I am the least likely person you'd find that my friends look at this and they say, we don't even understand how you stepped into doing this, right, Pat? Business career, it just never made sense to them. But here's what I discovered, and I'm so glad you shared that. Sometimes when we're called to do what we're called to do, it may not make sense to the rest of the people around us, right?
Oh, true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Yeah, but we just got to do it.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Andrew Wilde, he's a world leader in turmeric research, once said, the benefits of turmeric may be too many to mention. And now we know that's true.
Yeah.
Turmeric author and researcher, MD, PhD, Bharat Agrawal, who's been kind of a mentor to me on this subject of turmeric. He's published on the subject, turmeric, more than 600 times, and he wrote, in 50 years of research, I have seen no cancer that has not benefited from turmeric. This is the golden spice from Southeast Asia and the Mideast, whose history, Dr. Pat, goes back thousands of years, and with more than 6,900 documented biomedical studies in the last 20 years, and no pharmaceutical drug in history could ever approach that kind of scrutiny. But turmeric continues to gain unprecedented popularity in the West, and there is some advantage that this natural anti-inflammatory may provide for you, your listening audience, and their families. So earlier this morning, Dr. Pat, I did a Google search for the terms curcumin and then turmeric, and came up with 60 million citations and writings. More than 600 health conditions are believed benefiting from turmeric and its main component, curcumin. So when I wrote that first book, I chose for the subtitle, it was Hidden Causes of Heart Attack and Stroke, but the subtitle was Inflammation, Cardiology's New Frontier. And inflammation was just beginning to be talked about in medical circles. And as Dr. Paul Ridker, the director of preventive cardiology at Harvard, who developed the HSCRP, C-reactive protein marker for inflammation, broke the news on it. Now we know that inflammation is at the basis of all chronic diseases. And turmeric is an anti-inflammatory, the best on the planet, with no side effects. And we hear that constantly. Maybe 1 or 2 side effects, but they're minimal. And so today, 2 decades later, inflammation is universally recognized as at the base of most diseases, and definitely all chronic diseases, including arthritis, as well as the aches and pains that are associated with fibromyalgia and menopause. Coincidentally, a recent study showed that turmeric with ginger, bromelain, black pepper, and boswellia were effective in reducing the aches and pains of both fibromyalgia, and menopause. And those are the exact ingredients that are in our formula. So for the records, our bodies require a certain amount of inflammation as part of the natural, temporary healing process to injury. But when the condition becomes long-term, inflaming vessels, arteries, organs, including the brain, and contributing to dementia and Alzheimer's, these internal fires, it's a good way to describe them, overtake and do their insidious toll on our bodies. Ultimately, turmeric may be the most effective, natural, and inexpensive anti-inflammatory on this planet.
Well, one of the things, too, we're discovering about this is, and we're going to talk about this when we come back, and that is, some people know turmeric as, let's have turmeric, and I'm glad you mentioned curcumin. I'm glad you mentioned it because people are really confused, don't understand the relationship of the two, and we'll talk about that as well. But fast forward to where we are, and you are right about the number of studies. What I've noticed about the studies and the change in the studies in the past 10 years is that the level by which they're looking at the positive effects of turmeric, whether it's turmeric in the food or the latest is the antibacterial activity of turmeric oil. Whatever that is, it warrants a full conversation like the one we're having today. So why is it, if we studied this in 1999, I can go back to one of the top clinical trials, 99 and even earlier, why is it that this is now a secret that most of the pharmaceutical companies don't want us to really know about? We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about turmeric, how you use it, why you use it, where you use it, when you use it, and what it will do. We're going to take a short break, and we've got some great things to give away today, thanks to Christian. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back.
Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we, Jason and Patricia, discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information about Living Lighter, visit www.livinglighter.org.
Calling all moms, it's time to awaken your vibrant, intuitive, loving self in every area of your life. Join host Debbie Pokornik as she shares thoughts, stories, and tools to help you stand in your power. Listen to Vibrant, Powerful Moms helping everyday women create extraordinary lives. Mondays at 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. For more information about Debbie, visit empoweringenergy.com. That's empowering with letters NRG.com.
Did you know that when working with the law of attraction, it's beneficial to share your longings with a supportive tribe who can assist in maintaining accountability and hold the creative space for your desires to manifest? I'm Autumn Seibel, host of Golden Otter Radio, where the metaphysical meets the mainstream. Join me each month at the new and full moon to plant your seeds of abundance, consciously tend to your intentions throughout the lunar phases, then harvest the fruits of your co-creation with the universe in my Lunar Manifestations members-only forum. Your tribe is waiting for you at goldenotter.us.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spirit Fire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spirit Fire. For more information, visit spiritfireretreatcenter.com.
Practice living in wholeness with the body tune-up. 6 classes for $89 designed for radical self-healing and self-regeneration. heal the deepest root of any challenge. The mental body was programmed in negativity, not good enough, separate from source. You're too much, you'll never make it. The emotional body holds all the pain and trauma of emotional suppression, all the pain from this life and lives past. The spiritual body is the place you connect with your higher power, your higher self, with the image and likeness of the One. The physical body houses and expresses the other three bodies every day. Go to CorneliaStephanie.com. Evolve, become a practitioner. We need to heal, integrate, and bring into wholeness and harmony the physical body, addressing all the other bodies in order to live in our true, authentic nature.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, boy, we have got something exciting. I thought that we had one bottle of Christian's Enhanced Turmeric Formula to give away. We're actually going to give away 5 of these today. And so the formula has many, many ingredients in it, and Christian's going to tell you why. But you're going to be able to call into the show, and we're going to open up the phone lines right now and give away the first bottle, 1-800-930-2819, 1-800-930-2819. Let's give that away. The other thing is, we're here to talk with Christian about his book as well. And we're talking about that in conjunction with how all of us can learn how to live vibrantly and long. And what is it that we discovered about turmeric that many people don't know? Today, he is one of the leading experts in this conversation, and that's why we're having this conversation with you, Christian. For a minute, let's just talk a little bit about the book and what we're giving away today. Give us a sneak peek, because I just alluded to the fact you're not just going to get like a bottle of turmeric. It's got some other things in it. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, putting together a formula, which I'm very happy to share with you, won the award at the EMORD Gala in Cambridge. They do it every 10 years. The award was for excellence in health product innovation, for inventing novel and effective products that enhance health and life. So we have in it a double amount of black pepper, bioperine, because without it, turmeric goes right through the body.
Yep.
66% of it goes through the body. So 5 milligrams is what they generally put in this patented bioperine, and I started out by doubling it, so it's got 10 milligrams. But then Boswellia has all kind of advantages.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me. All kind of advantages, and we added Boswellia, we added bromelain, we added curcumin extract, and we added ginger and green tea. When Sloan Kettering did their studies, they found that when green tea was added to turmeric, the cancer-fighting ability was doubled. So we put together that formula, and with just word of mouth, without doing paid advertising, we're going through, I think next week will be 150,000 bottles. So our return order rate is about 89%. So we're really happy about that, because it is helping people. If you look at the on the website later, you can read the testimonials of people that have written in. It's quite encouraging to see that. But, it does go back thousands of years. Marco Polo, in the 12th century, brought it back from China to his emperor in Rome. And that's how far back it goes. And the pharmaceutical industry, as I understand it, because I'm reading articles more and more, that they are somewhat threatened by it because it outperforms. For instance, in arthritis, it outperforms all of the NSAIDs. And then the NSAIDs, we know, or most of us know, are killing 17,000 people a year. So, Dr. Pat, just in talking about 350 million people worldwide, 40 million in the United States who are living with rheumatoid arthritis, and there are another 21 million Americans impacted with osteoarthritis. So if you're taking any one of the following NSAIDs, and this is just a partial list: Aleve, Celebrex, Naproxen, Diclofenac, Naproxen, Ibuprofen, or Voltaren, or at least 15 other generic names, both OTC and prescription, you may want to discuss the following information with your physician, because yearly there are 17,000 people dying from NSAIDs. And now the British Journal also finds that NSAIDs increase the risk of heart failure and stroke. So I guess the takeaway would be, in head-to-head studies, turmeric not only outperformed the NSAIDs, but did so without side effects. So, Dr. Pat, after 15 years of advocating and discussing the benefits of turmeric on national radio, is when I decided to do more research and put together this formula. But there's also 100,000 patients a year admitted to hospitalization because of internal gastrointestinal bleeding from the NSAIDs. So right there, right at the beginning, we can see that the pharmaceutical industry is losing a lot of its clientele once they become aware of how dangerous NSAIDs are. Even Aleve, you wouldn't think of it, but that's what the facts are.
Well, I think we've all gotten super educated over time about this, and yet it's like you said, up to a point, unless you have something that is going to be effective, there you go. I want to ask you one thing, and certainly folks can get a copy of your book as well. But the thing that I have heard people say, the last time I talked about turmeric, one of the things that was said to me was, gee, Pat, I took it and I heard you talk about it, and man, my stomach was just upset. And you know what I said? I forgot to mention my own journey. Part of the process for me is, after decades and decades and decades of putting, just about anything you want to think about into my stomach, I forgot to mention that you may experience a little bit of detoxing going on here, because it's not like you wake up one day and you look at what's happening in your system, especially if you haven't treated your body really well. And for me, I did not treat my body well when I was younger. And so there is a cleansing effect to turmeric that people should know about. The other thing I want to get back to, what you mentioned, is talk about boswellia for a minute, because that is something that I heard quite a bit about. Other people may or may not heard about it. But in the end, the formula is a formula that when you put everything together, it works better than any one part, right?
Exactly right. They work in conjunction with each other. They enhance each other, and they do more than just turmeric. But boswellia has another name, and that's frankincense.
Yep.
So it goes back a long time, and we know it in the story of Christ, when the wise men brought frankincense and that was, of course, Boswellia. So all of these ingredients that I spent a long time researching enhance. Now, I don't encounter side effects with the turmeric. I can honestly say in a 3-year period, there may have been 2 or 3 people that have said turmeric upset their stomach.
Exactly.
And that's only 3 out of that great number.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So
and you know, everybody's different.
That's true.
Everybody is really on their own journey with this. But one of the things, too, that I absolutely wanted to talk with you about is I wanted to get to some very specific reasons why this works. And let's talk about that. You know, we're talking about various diseases, but heart disease. We can't say enough about heart disease. Certainly, the Heart Association has done enormous amount of publicity to tell us what they think we should do, how to take better care. But what is it that we should know about turmeric and heart disease?
Number one, heart disease is an inflammatory disease. Cancer is an inflammatory disease. Diabetes, which we could talk about, and arthritis are all inflammatory diseases. When the heart is inflamed and the vessels are inflamed, an example might be that any of us, as we get older, might have a certain amount of plaque in our arteries. If that plaque is sitting on the endothelium wall of the artery that's inflamed from inflammation, it can heat up those plaques and cause them to literally explode. I've heard it described by one of the world leaders as like popcorn and ending up in a heart attack. So inflammation. Number 2, I did a good study here of 9 studies that had all found that turmeric shrinks the enlarged heart. One of the big problems in heart failure is the left ventricle enlarges, and turmeric reduces that inflammation and that enlargement. So definitely this little spice affects everything. We have to realize more now than we ever have in the past. We heard the word inflammation and we didn't really understand it. The world leader who developed the HS, high sensitivity C-reactive protein test, is a friend of mine. He is the director of preventive cardiology at Harvard University. And he is the one who has broken the information. He was the director of the Physician's Health Study many years ago. And his breakthrough, bringing all of cardiovascular study and physicians to the reality that we have to be concerned about turmeric and how it affects the walls of the arteries, how it inflames the brain, which is, of course, not the heart, but we know that dementia and Alzheimer are a swelling and inflammation of the brain. Nothing is more effective than controlling that than turmeric. Now, many people wonder if they're getting enough of it in their diet or how effective it is. And I have to quote Dr. Joel, who is one of the world 3 or 4 leaders in turmeric. I'm going to quote him pretty much verbatim. He said, if you sprinkle some turmeric on your food in the morning, and once a week you go to an Indian restaurant for an Indian dinner, it's not going to be enough. Number 1, you need a balance of bioperine, or also known as black pepper, but you need a combination of both curcumin extract, root extract, in combination with turmeric powder. You need the combination together, and then with the bioperine. Otherwise, you're not getting what you really need. But it doesn't hurt to add and sprinkle it in your cooking and your dining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what I think you're saying here too, though, is one is we have learned so much about the delivery systems, and now couple that with the research that people are doing, and what we have is what some people call too good to be true. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about, nope, not too good to be true. The research is now showing it. Why is it? It does fight heart disease, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, arthritis, and the latest research out there, for those of you, I know you follow me on this, Lyme disease. What is it about turmeric oil that you can put on topically that is better at warding off ticks than any kind of insect repellent? What is it that the people of the East have discovered that we are just getting caught up on? Well, that's why I've got Christian Wilde joining me here today. 1-800-930-2819. Love to give away more of this amazing turmeric formula. Let's take a short break, everybody. When we come back, we'll also take your questions. 1-800-930-2819. Give us a call. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Can keep my hands on myself.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
What is holding you back from living the life you are meant to live? Why is it vital to believe in something bigger than yourself? Are you in physical or emotional pain? Tune in monthly to Vibrant Purposeful Living. Awaken the vibrant life within you with Lou Paradise and Dr. Pat on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Lou's passion is to help everyone experience positive solutions for life. Find out more about Lou with Vibrant Purposeful Living at LouParadise.com.
Are you ready to create a life you'll really love? Then you'll want to tune in to the hit show Life Design Radio, From Adversity to Awesome with Susan DiLorenzo. Live each month on TransformationTalkRadio.com. No matter where you are in your adversity story, Life Design Radio has got you covered. Get ready to feel inspired, enlightened, and motivated. For more information about working with Susan, visit SusanDiLorenzo.com.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Stay juicy. Tune in to Your Juicy Love with me, Una Drake, co-hosting monthly with Dr. Pat, and every second Monday at 12 p.m. on Transformation Talk Radio. My show, Your Juicy Love, helps you find the dynamic, life-affirming love you've always wanted. Transform your relationships and bring peace, joy, and juicy, juicy love to planet Earth. For more information, visit unadrake.com.
Are you searching? Looking for a sign? A message you need to hear? From the great unknown, from the most mysterious place that is the most familiar to your soul, in the depths of who you are. The universe put someone here to talk to, someone God gave a blessing to, that you may find insight with. TheAngelLady.net. 1-800-323-1790. 1-800-323-1790.
everybody, welcome back. Yeah, Christian Wilde joining me here today. And, I did forget to mention, first of all, how you can get your own bottle of Enhanced Turmeric Plus formula. Christian, I want to talk about this for a minute because sometimes we get so engaged in what we're talking about, we forget. Where can people go to purchase this? Folks that are not calling in here and are not able to get a free bottle today, and we are giving them away. 1-800-930-2819. Tell folks where to go and tell them, if you don't mind, what they'll get.
Okay. You can go to the website, www.myheartbook.com. That's one word, myheartbook.com. Please read the endorsements from people who are, they're not being paid. They have just put their reviews on the line, on the product. Funny thing about this turmeric, Pat, if you buy pharmaceutical drugs, they tell you take them for a month. You may not see any difference, maybe a month or 2 months. And how many times do we find out that we really got taken? We were paying $100 a month for something, and it did not relieve us like we expected. Right. But the one thing with turmeric I can tell you for sure is people notice the difference within 2 or 3, possibly 4 days. I had a gentleman who was hesitant to try it because he'd been disappointed with the pharmaceutical drugs that they had prescribed. He had both knees operated on at the same time, which he'll never do again. His doctor had said to him, why don't you just do one at a time? But he was gung-ho. Anyway, he ordered the turmeric, which has 100% money-back guarantee, and went out of his way to call on the second day after he got it. He said, just can't believe it. I am not imagining it. He said, at the second day, by the afternoon, most of that pain had left me, and it's been that way since I take it. So when somebody runs out of it, then they notice the difference. So we're giving you 90-day supply. That's instead of 30 days, you're getting 90 days.
Wow.
So, and if you have severe, there's 180 capsules, so you can take 2, which is 1 serving, or take 2 twice a day,
right?
Depending on your need. So you can do it. You can either call us in at 866-STEM, S-T-E-M, 123, if you're not online. But if you're online, go to myheartbook.com.
The other thing is, let's just be really clear. I don't think we have to say this, but it's good to say it, because with all of the awareness about GMOs, this is really no GMO, no magnesium, stearates, dioxides, or chemical additives. And that is important, because one of the things I think...
vegetable capsules. We haven't really talked much about cancer.
No, that was next on my list.
Okay. I don't mean to jump you.
Jump in.
Gun here, but because the information is that 1 in 3 of us will develop some form of cancer in our lifetimes if we live long enough, that we need to pay a great amount of attention to what we can do through diet and exercise and avoidance of processed foods and certain chemicals. We all know that. But Dr. Bharat Agarwal, the director of turmeric research at MD Anderson, said turmeric is for the initiation, the proliferation, and the metastasizing of cancer. It was one of his studies several years ago that had stopped metastasizing of breast cancer from its origin in the breast to the lungs using turmeric. He has tracked 31 pathways that turmeric travels, that cancer travels, rather, to do its destruction in our bodies. and he gave me permission to put that graph on my website. He has been successful in using turmeric to shut down two of cancer's most prevalent destructive pathways. That's nuclear, kappa B, and STAT3. Turmeric shuts down those two switches. It shuts them off. So if we were to look at the statistics of the 5 cancers in India and the United States, let me share that with you.
Sure.
Out of 1 million people in the United States, 660 out of 1 million will develop breast cancer. 180 of those will die. When I look across at India, instead of 180 dying, 41 die, and only 79 get it compared to 660 in America. Prostate cancer, 690 cases per million in America, 130 pass away. In India, only 9 pass away, and there are only 20 that develop it. Colorectal, 530, 220 deaths, only 18 deaths in India. But look at pancreatic cancer. 180 in America develop it, 103 die from it. In India, only 8 compared to 108 get it. And and it goes on, but those are legitimate statistics on cancer and various, and also because I mentioned pancreatic cancer, I want to say that Rutgers did a university study in which they found out that the crucifixous vegetables like broccoli, particularly cauliflower and turmeric, could slow or reverse prostate cancer. So that's a good piece of news out there for your listeners.
Well, you know, the other thing, too, is I don't know if anybody out there has ever done this, but I have just a crazy good cauliflower and turmeric soup recipe.
There you go.
Oh, boy, is that the thing. And now with cauliflower, you know, we've got it so that we have cauliflower rice, we have this, we have that. I mean, it's really fascinating. One of the things I want to ask you about is the future around this. Certainly the studies are mounting up. They are just mounting up. They're mounting up when it comes to double-blind studies. I looked at one this morning. When they're looking at now the formula, certainly the formula that you have, developed and put forth here. But we're now looking at the many, many ways that turmeric can be used. I mentioned turmeric oil. I mean, it is a thing that for those of us in modern world, we're like, really? But if you go back, the ancient cultures made oil of pretty much everything they had available to them, because of its absorption process. You know, can you talk a little bit about the future as you see it for stem cell, turmeric, all of the above? Let's talk about where turmeric can go and what we need to do to get it there, Christian, if we could.
It's the American public is not stupid.
No.
When they see something that works, and everywhere you turn now, you see an ad for turmeric, a study, and all the health publications. I'd say, I spoke at the 41st Cancer Symposium at the Sheraton Universal a couple of years ago, and my topic was turmeric out of the closet. Turmeric's time had come, and I think it's going to just continue leaps and bounds because there are no side effects. You'll talk to your neighbor and they'll say, I had arthritic pain. It was just driving me crazy, and I tried this and I tried that. Nothing helped. And then I tried some turmeric, and it's helping. So, in over a 9-month period, I was reading, they learned that 250 milligrams of turmeric extract had proven 100% effective at preventing prediabetes from progressing to type 2. And the sign was, the study was randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled, 250 subjects who met the Diabetic Association's criteria for prediabetes. Other studies have claimed similar results, but those who already have type 2, the point is diabetes is a controllable disease. It's up to us. Incidentally, instead of 250 milligrams of turmeric extract like they used in the trial, we made ours 350, plus 650 more milligrams of turmeric powder. So A1C, one of your markers for diabetes, it's a waist size greater than 35 inches for women or greater than 40 inches for men is a no-no. You have to control that. You stay away from eating white bread, white rice, pasta, potatoes. Those are all things you can do, because if you have diabetes, you have heart disease. The two are joined at the hip and vice versa. So in cancer, they find that the greatest thing you can do, keep inflammation down, because it is an inflammatory disease. Now, that's what Agarwal proved several years ago. And anything you can do to control inflammation benefits you all across the board.
Well, one of the things, can you talk to this as well? Turmeric now, we know, a latest study I looked at says it dramatically increases the antioxidant capacity of the body. So on the one hand, it's anti-inflammatory. On the other hand, it's antioxidant positive. And so that's like a 1-2 punch. Can you just, I know we've got a few minutes left, so I just want to make sure we talk about that.
You're right. I'm glad you brought it up. It's also antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-VEGF, vascular endothelial growth factor. In other words, the cancer tumor requires blood. They know that if they can shut off the blood flow, they can kill the cancer. That's another thing that it does, VEGF. It's antimicrobial. It's anti-cancer. And there's probably 3 or 4 other things. I know in India, if you had a cut, you'd go to your local CVS Indian pharmacy and buy yourself a Johnson & Johnson Band-Aid. But the center of that Band-Aid, the gauze, will be treated with turmeric because it's anti-infection also.
Yeah.
Just a few things, yeah.
Well, I mean, and let's just be clear. What we're talking about is also supported through studies. I just want to make sure. I mean, the reference to a study that I referenced was a 2012 study on cancer, where they found was a 30-day study, and they studied 44 men with lesions in the colon, right? And so they took this study, and and they talked about those lesions, which sometimes turn cancerous. They gave them 4 grams, I think, of curcumin per day, and reduced the number of lesions by 40%. Now, when you have a study like that, right, and it says this is what it can do, the question is, why are we waiting to do it? And I think that's the thing that I want to bring the message to the forefront about is, wow, don't get sick like I got sick, and then discover it. Because what we're looking at is not only this, we're also looking at Alzheimer's disease. And, a friend of mine, I play table tennis, and a lot of the people I play table tennis with consume huge amounts of turmeric and other spices, right, from the East. And
let me add something to that, Dr. Pat.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
Alzheimer's disease is primarily a buildup of beta amyloid plaque in the brain. Now, when the Geffen School of Medicine sent their team of researchers to India to study the low incidence of dementia and Alzheimer, they found that in a village that they examined, only 1% of people over 65 showed any sign of developing dementia or Alzheimer's. Turmeric destroys beta amyloid plaque in the brain. And that's why it's critical. They're looking at this tremendous amount as we're getting older and living longer of dementia and Alzheimer's. It's going to outcost our national debt in another 40 years if they don't come up with something. And right now, the best thing they have is turmeric, because the drugs that they developed, Aricept, Namenda, and Exelon, which are all acetyl transmitter aids, choline. That's what I'm looking for. Choline. I'm talking about Alzheimer's. I'm having trouble thinking of the word. But anyway, acetylcholine, and they're very ineffective. Most physicians are very dissatisfied with what they've come up with so far.
Yeah.
So I would say turmeric may be the strongest thing you have right now. And as they develop drugs see, that's what the pharmaceutical companies are doing now. They're using turmeric to develop particular pharmaceutical drugs, and it's at the basis of the drug.
Yeah.
And they're doing it for stroke, too.
Yeah. One of the things that I just also want to mention is, and I want to make sure, again, folks have your website, is there's a lot of information out there, but there's a couple of articles in particular that just lay it out. One of the things we did not talk about today, and I just want to mention, everybody can get out there and you could Google it, especially from Healthline. These are research studies, Christian. So I want to be very clear. We're not talking about anecdotal studies. These are usually laboratory controlled or randomly controlled or double-blind controlled. So the last thing I want to say about it is this. Studies are now showing that curcumin has incredible benefits against depression. And there are now studies out there about that. Clearly, there is not like a gazillion % that have gone through the length that a couple of them gone through with Prozac. But in the end, the studies showed that the curcumin and the Prozac fared equally. However, when you put curcumin or turmeric together with Prozac, the results were staggering. So we know
you need them together.
You need them together. So we know that by itself, it acts like maybe an adaptogen. It acts like a catalyst for so many other systems. And I think that's a big takeaway from today. I want to thank you for joining me here. Thank you for your generosity. Please, how can people find out more? And what's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with today?
You have to be proactive. More and more and more. You're hearing from people in the industry even who say to you, you have to do your own research. You have to be involved. And we're talking about getting involved right now with a spice that has thousands of years of success behind it. The side effects are almost zero when it's tested up to 12 grams. And nobody's going to need 12 grams. But go to my website, read what you can. There's a 100% guarantee if you want to try it. This is just too much information. I'll tell you, it's finally come to the head. Yeah. And everywhere you go, you're going to be hearing more and more about turmeric.
Oh, I know. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. For those of you out there, please go ahead and go to the website, find out for yourself, and make your own decisions. I think you'll discover what I've discovered. And in the end, it's all about taking great care of ourselves. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.